Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, Qwakho Talk with the Expert. The discussion for today is about robotics. To discuss a lot more about robotics, the various fields and domains it has got to offer, and also talk us about the job opportunities in this domain, we have got Mr. Parth, who is working as a research engineer in IIT Delhi. Mr. Parth is here with us to discuss a lot more about robotics and also to give us an insight about what exactly is required for a beginner to kickstart his career in the field of robotics. Hello, Mr. Parth. Thank you so much for joining with us. It's great to have you.
Hi Ravi, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm super excited to share my experience with you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thanks a lot for joining with us, and we are hoping for a very good conversation with you.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Parth, before we start off, could you please brief us up about your profession as a research engineer in IIT Delhi?
Right. So I joined India's leading research university, that is IIT Delhi, where IFSM, a cyber physical lab, has been set up by the government of India to carry out research in smart manufacturing and industrial revolution 4.0. I am
Right.
working under the guidance of Professor Sunil Jha, who is an expert in mechatronics, robotics, and self-driving cars. Here, I embarked on a new journey. So I joined this place as an intern, just like everybody is doing it, and a complete naive kid. So I embarked a complete new journey as an engineer, where I am now leading multiple projects as a project manager and software development lead, being the single point of contact for IT, OT, that is operation technologies, robotics, AR, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. So yeah, that's all.
That is some really impressive journey which you actually had. So, Mr. Parth, I wanted to ask you this that actually, when somebody tells the term robotics, so different people have got different perception on what exactly robotics has got to offer. So, I personally have, and many people also perceive that robotics is basically a combination of it has computer science, electrical and electronics, as well as mechanical components in it. So can you please briefly elaborate to us like what exactly are the various domains robotics has got to offer?
Right. So, as you said, you were right, perfectly right. The definition was exactly right. But there are five major fields which are involved in robotics. So, the
Right.
first one is operator interface. So, what is operator interface? The operator interface is the most important field of robotics. Why? Because it's a medium that allows the communication between a user and a robot. So by
Right.
this interface, a human can give a command to a pre-programmed robot. It can control it and it can go ahead. Next one, which is gaining a lot of air in this time, is mobility or locomotion. So you know mobility, right? So if
Yeah.
a robot needs to move from point A to point B, it needs to go there. So in
Right.
in robotics terms, we call it locomotions, and otherwise it's all just a plain movement.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most booming platform where a lot of startups are coming in lately. The next one is manipulators and effectors, or I could say and effectors. So robots have to interact with the environment for functional tasks, right?
Yeah.
So here, manipulators and we are effectors comes into the play. So these allow robots to pick up the object and move them accordingly to the command, right?
Yeah.
So next one comes my favorite part, that is programming. Being a computer science geek, right? So these are like there are different kind of programming levels. So these are joint level programming, robot level programming, and high level programming. So what is joint level programming? It allows the robot to perform basic actions and positions using the joints. So I've got a joint, right? Just like my arm, I can move my arm anywhere. So this is the first one. Then the next one is robot level programming, which is used to perform the task as a whole. So move the whole bot, right? And then high level programming establishes the relation between the parts of the robot. So I'm making intercommunication between the robots. And again, the last one, which has been, I would say, rank two after mobility or location in the rank of famous and most impressive space is sensing and perception. So robots use sensor to gather data from the surrounding environment,
Yeah.
while perception helps to analyze the data from the surrounding. And
Right.
together, they help the robot to decide how to react with the object they encounter. So yeah, so
Right.
these are some like five major fields that I can remember is getting famous lately.
Right. That was very interesting. And also, if there is, I just also, if there is any student or for anybody for that matter who is an absolute
Hmm.
beginner towards robotics, has got no idea of what exactly robotics is, and he or she wants to kickstart their career in the field of robotics. So,
Hmm.
what is the roadmap one has to
Hmm.
follow? How can somebody start off with learning the concepts, and what is the roadmap somebody has to follow?
So the perfect example for a naive to come into robotics and kill that field is me. Right. So, so I was just a plain app developer, right?
Right.
And from there, then I joined IIT Delhi, where everything was completely new, and I was like, "Damn, there's too much of robots in the air."
Yeah. Right.
As a kid, it was like, "Come on, it's something great, and we can do it." But
Yeah.
however, when the term comes like robots, we all are like, "Damn, this is something different,"
Right.
right? I would say the journey, I will just explain my journey, how I started doing it. And I guess then anybody could do it if I could do it. So, the first and the foremost important when you are understanding and when you are going into the field of robotics is to know what suits you better. So, just like so we have end effectors and then we have mobility or locomotion, right?
Right. Right.
If you so there I'm going to divide this answer into two legs, right? If you're lucky enough to get into some of these prestigious universities, then the hardware will be of no bar, right? You'll have
Right.
everything to put a hands on. However, not everybody is able to get into these universities, right?
Right.
So but you don't have to be discouraged, you don't have to do anything, because I was not allowed to touch even a single hardware until unless I was not aware of it.
Okay.
Knowing the cost is way too much and I could just blow it off like
Right.
anytime, right? So
Yeah.
so the first, I also did the same thing, I could just see them but cannot touch them. So I started my educating myself through all my online courses. So one of the one that I remember is robotigniteacademy.com. So where
Right.
I could understand the whole environment of robotics through simulations. So I can simulate my end effector, I can simulate my um, like you would say AMR, autonomous mobile vehicle, or autonomous
Yeah.
guided vehicle, right? I can eventually take any robot, simulate it, study about it, and then just try to program it or just use it for any sense, right?
Right.
That was the first step. So first step for you would be to go ahead and be in these courses. Don't go
Right.
into theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge will not help you at any cost. So I always prefer bottoms up approach, right? First, get your hands dirty, break something off, not the real ones, simulator one, right? Right. And then once that is done, then understand and go towards the different streams. Like let's say now I want to understand what actually this thing means, right? So if I'm typing a code, right, roscoe run, or what roscoe is actually, right? Or if I'm saying that my robot is going from point A to point B by the help of lidars, taking all the sensors from the environment, then perceiving it like what it is, and after that doing one step at a time.
Yeah.
So first step is to move that bot from A to B, get happy and get lucky. Yay, that is done. So for that, Robot Ignite Academy. Number two, then go towards the education field. There is, we have Coursera, and one course that I will really suggest you to go forward is Modern Robotics by Coursera, right?
Okay.
So where you'll get all the small details of all the creative spark and all the brain thing that you have.
Right.
These are two steps, and once you have done this one, right, then you will require hardware, right?
Right.
And the hardware are very costly.
Yeah.
So but however, now we have a Lego based computers and Lego based mobile robots that are coming at very cheap rate. If you can afford it, well and good. If not, then in upcoming time, like I'll just tell you again then what needs to be done. Let's close the eyes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And also, are there, I mean, just as you mentioned that a few courses on Coursera and other online
Mhm.
websites which really helped you. So can you just elaborate a little bit more on this, like suggest a few more resources that are available online? It could be books, or it could be any lecture videos, or any research articles, or any magazines. Those are available online that are extremely essential, not only just for the beginners but also for people who have some basic background on robotics, to
Mhm.
enhance their and further their knowledge in this domain. So do you suggest anything of that sort?
Yeah, so again, for all the knife kids, robotigniteacademy.com, Coursera Modern Robotics, and ross.org. These are the three places that I have done it from my end, and I have really suggested n number of my interns who have come across
Right.
the IIT to understand how robotic works. So they have done the same thing repeatedly again and again, and they have been successfully understanding about the whole architecture, and they are now really killing robotics in different field, right? And for the
Right.
experienced ones, what I will suggest is that we don't require. So if I'm the guy who knows like beginner or mid level of robotics, I
Yeah.
would say these things I will still go and understand about Robot Ignite Academy. Why? Because I can now understand what joints are, what robots are, how I can add another point to it, create
Yeah.
my own simulation, and then go forward. Number one.
Right.
Number two, that I would recommend everybody is like we've got communities on WhatsApp, right? Ross communities, Ross ORGs. You can join them because after Stack Overflow and all these places, these communities will be the one which will help you guide through it. There
Right.
are a number of books also, but I would not go with the book because the things are changing rapidly in robotics, and you have to be really abreast with all the latest technologies that is going around. So I would
Right.
say you'll go, and if you can join these two places, LinkedIn definitely. Number
Yeah.
two, uh, ROS groups and ROS.org groups, you'll
Right.
find all your questions answered
Right.
easily there.
Right. That was very that was very useful information.